Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're sitting in the C-suite, if you're a compliance leader, or if you're just navigating the upper tiers of the German financial sector right now, you already know the deal. The regulatory heat is always on, and the stakes, well, they are absolutely incredibly high. So today, we're dissecting a really critical, strategically vital topic, outsourcing the Money Laundering Reporting Officer, or MLRO, function in Germany. Specifically, we'll be examining the expert security and compliance frameworks provided by S+P Compliance Services. We are going to break down exactly how this works and, most importantly, why it matters so much to your bottom line. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is a quick look at our roadmap as we build what we'll call our trust pyramid today. We'll start with audit-proof governance and the GWG, move into the mandatory GWG scope, check out S+'s certifications, break down the MLRO business case, and finally, show you how to get started in just 3 simple steps. Section 1, Audit-Proof Governance and the GWG. Now, for a lot of institutional leaders, just hearing the words German Money Laundering Act brings on a sudden wave of anxiety. And honestly, rightfully so, given the immense personal and corporate liabilities that are tied up in it. So the crucial point is this. We have to fundamentally reframe how we view money laundering prevention. Management teams so often look at AML compliance as just a sunk cost, a tedious checkbox exercise or this frustrating administrative overhead. But the reality of modern German banking and finance is completely different. Effective AML compliance is literally the shield that protects your institution's reputation. It shields your management team from severe legal consequences. It's a critical liability-reducing line of defense. And shifting to that mindset, that is step 1 for true operational security.
Section 2, the mandatory focus, GW scope.
Transitioning over to the actual legal reality here, the GWG places a remarkably heavy burden on financial institutions. You don't just set it and forget it. An institution has to implement and constantly monitor an effective risk management system, complete with incredibly specific risk analysis. You've got to continuously update internal policies and secure your data processing. But here is where the operational heavy lifting really kicks in. Investigating and processing suspicious cases, reporting directly to management and supervisory bodies, and continuously, and I mean continuously, training your employees on the latest legal regulations. Trying to handle all of this in-house requires dedicating some serious, highly specialized resources just to keep your head above water.
Section 3, SP Trust Seals and Certifications.
Moving up to the next layer of our trust pyramid, the massive question executives face is, okay, if we don't do this internally, how can we absolutely guarantee these strict obligations are actually being met securely? Now, what's really interesting about this is how these specific verified certifications systematically dismantle any of that regulatory anxiety. When outsourcing, especially right now with DORA, the Digital Operational Resilience Act, demanding maximum IT security, you need undeniable proof of competence. And S+ brings an impressive arsenal. You've got ISAE 3402, which is essentially the international gold standard for outsourcing providers. You have ISO 27001 for certified information security, ISO 9001 for highly structured data processing, and even an EcoVadis bronze rating for ESG sustainability. This isn't just someone promising they'll do a good job. It's objectively verified, institutional-grade security.
I actually want to slow down our pacing right here for just a second because we really need to focus on one specific, highly critical certification, IDW PS 951. This definition is vital. This standard assures BaFin, the German Federal Financial Supervisory Authority, that the outsourced MLRO function meets the absolute highest quality and audit reliability standards. It is literally the ultimate gold standard for BaFin audit reliability. Having a partner with an internal control system certified under IDW PS 951 drastically simplifies your regulatory reporting. Basically, when the auditors show up, you have a globally recognized documented standard proving your outsourced processes are practically bulletproof.
Section 4, the MLRO business case.
All right, with our compliance and security foundation solidly built, it's time to shift our focus to the total cost of ownership. 145,000 euros. That is a striking number, isn't it? According to the data, this is the potential maximum annual cost of keeping your MLRO solution strictly in-house. When C-level executives look at their operational budgets, this is the financial shock a lot of them face without even realizing exactly where those costs are bleeding out.
Let's break that down and build a very clear financial picture. For salary and personnel expenses alone, an in-house MLRO runs roughly 80,000 to 120,000 euros every single year. Outsourcing replaces that with a completely predictable flat-rate fee. What about training? That's about 5,000 euros a year internally, but with S+P, certified continuous updates are just included. Software and specialized tools, that can easily run you 20,000 euros annually in-house, whereas S+P's specialized digital toolbox is already baked in. And crucially, substitute coverage. When your internal MLRO takes a vacation or gets sick, you face huge headaches and extra cost bridging that gap. With S+P, substitution rules are contractually integrated from day one. When you add it all up, the unpredictability of a 95,000 to 145,000 euro internal setup contrasts pretty sharply against a much more cost-effective, full-service model. But hey, the business case goes way beyond just a spreadsheet. It's heavily weighted in qualitative benefits too. Yes, for sure you get cost savings and increased efficiency by freeing up your own employees to concentrate on what they actually do best. But I want to heavily emphasize the right side of this comparison: limitation of liability and professionalization. This is absolutely paramount. While the ultimate supervisory responsibility obviously always remains with your management, an outsourcing contract actually transfers the operational liability for executing these duties, the risk analysis, the monitoring, the training, directly to S+P Compliance Services. That drastically minimizes the personal risk exposure of your management team, all while injecting the absolute highest level of industry professionalization into your strategy. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly who desperately needs this kind of audit-proof partnership. The GWG casts a very wide net across the German financial landscape. This applies to banks, including branches of foreign institutions. It applies to BaFin-licensed FinTechs, payment service providers holding a SAGE license, investment firms, and, importantly, crypto service providers who require a KGW license. If your institution falls into literally any of these categories, getting this compliance right isn't an optional nice-to-have, it is an absolute requisite for your license to operate. Section 5. Getting started in 3 simple steps. So, we've reached the peak of our trust pyramid. You understand the legal need, the security guarantees, and the business case. The good news? Transitioning to this level of ultimate compliance is remarkably accessible. It's truly just 3 simple steps. Step 1 is simply an inquiry. You contact the team to discuss your specific needs and challenges. Step 2 is the offer. Based on that chat, they create a flexible, tailor-made service package designed exactly for your industry and size. And step 3 is the outsourcing contract itself. They handle all the intricate details to ensure a completely seamless integration into your existing processes. You aren't ripping out your operational foundation here. S+P is securely snapping right into it. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative, lingering thought. Think about this for a second. Is your management's personal liability truly protected under your current AML setup? It's a tough question, but it's absolutely vital. If you're relying on an overwhelmed, incredibly expensive internal system, you might actually be carrying far more personal and institutional risk than you even realize. Outsourcing your MLRO to a certified, audit-proof partner is way more than just a cost-saving measure. It's a strategic maneuver to secure your firm's future and protect the leaders at the helm. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating topic. Take a hard look at your internal processes today and ask yourself if it's time for a professional upgrade. Catch you next time.